Watching the Highlight Zone with WANE 15 Sports Director Glenn Marini. Local sports coverage you can count on.
It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone. It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone. It's Friday night. We on the Highlight Zone.
I'm excited to play with my guys. I'm excited to get out there and play hard.
I love the kind of football that's run the ball 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
We feel like it's vital to play the best that's out there.
Now's the time, all that work, now's the fun part. You get to play on Friday night.
If you know they're going to be a tough team, then you know you got to be a tougher team, so you got to work tougher.
So it's a lot of action that goes on Friday, and it's no better place to be.
Yeah, the Highlight Zone. It's the Highlight Zone. Yeah, the Highlight Zone.
It may be a new season, but it's always the same old goal, right? Make it down to Lucas Oil Stadium around Thanksgiving. Last year, we had a Highlight Zone record. 4 teams from Northeast Indiana make it all the way to state, so who knows what 2025 is going to hold. We got over 20 local games. Matter of fact, 24 games to bring you tonight in the 31st year for the Highlight Zone right here on WANE TV. And we start at Spooler Stadium with our man Josh Ayan and your game of the week, which was a good one. Josh.
Oh, no kidding, Glenn. Well, at Spooler Stadium, these two teams are no stranger to success. A couple of years ago, Snyder won the 5A state title, and then last season, Warsaw finishing as your 5A state runner-up. So, Warsaw at Snyder, it's your Highlight Zone game of the week. Now, both teams are looking to ground and pound in week number 1. Warsaw, known for playing some bark ball with their wishbone offense. Snyder, meanwhile, breaking in a new quarterback in Jaywin Harris. This is a great way to make a strong first impression. Harris scoring from 11 yards out off a fumble recovery for the touchdown. Snyder actually cashing in 10 unanswered points off 2 fumble recoveries, but Warsaw eventually getting rid of that fumbleitis as they were able to bounce back in quarter number 2. This is Wyatt Harmon, and Harmon takes it to the house. Harmon off the triple option on a 76-yard touchdown run. They lead 18-16. Don't let that look from Bart Curtis fool you. He's pretty happy. Skip ahead to the 4th quarter now. It is Michael Schenk saying, "Shank you very much." That touchdown, one of his 3 on the day, tack on 134 yards, and Warsaw leading 30-22. But the Panthers come prowling right back, and it is Harris with a 48-yard touchdown run as he is able to help tie this game. A 2-point conversion, making it a 30-30 game, but just a little too much time for some good old Bart ball. And in the final minutes, it is Brody Duncan punching it in for what turns out to be your game-winning touchdown, and Warsaw wins a wild one at Spooler Stadium. 38-30 is your final.
We were put in a good position by our coaches, by our players, and we all worked well together. We knew what we were capable, we knew what we were set up to do, and we knew we had it. So that's what kept us going.
It's just mind-blowing. At first, we were struggling. I thought it was going to be a long game, but offense came through, defense played hard, and in the end, we ended up taking the W.
Could not ask for a worse start to a football game. Fumble the first snap on a 5-yard sneak, and then the next series, I think we fumbled it, and we held them to a field goal, which was big, ended up being big. But I'm proud of the kids for how they responded.
Warsaw's hosting Warren Central next Friday, while Snyder is going to hit the road to Kendallville to take on East Noble. Glenn, take it away.
All right, speaking of East Noble, tonight's coming off a run to the 4A state title game last year. Alex Stewart and company opening against a new head coach in Garrett White and the Generals. And Connor Main, before the game, he told me he was going to make some big plays. There's a big hit right there, a little PBU from the WANE linebacker wearing number 7. But Generals could have used a little more of that defense. This is Riley Biddle to Alex Scott. Scott made his name last season as a defensive back. He had a breakout game as a wide receiver. This one goes 64 yards to the house, and it's 7-zip East Noble in the first quarter. They were not done. Biddle looking for Scott in the corner of the end zone, and he mosses the DB right there. 14-zip East Noble as East Noble goes on to win at Wayne Manor 42-0. Big crowd at Lions Field as Leo hosting Bishop Luers. The Knights coming off the 3A state runner-up finish last season. Second quarter, it's Nathan Foster, one of the best running backs in the area, had over 1,300 yards last year. Touchdown Leo, 7-zip Lions in the lead. But later in the second, Luers looking for a new quarterback this year. How about Thomas Reichert? He finds Nate Javins in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown, and that knots it at 7. But Leo really happy in that coaching staff with the offensive line coming into this season. They show you why in the third. Power football, Paul Woods scores, and that is your game-winning touchdown as Leo beats Luers in a slugfest 14-7. Well, he is ranked as the #1 senior in the state of Indiana. We're talking about Ohio State recruit Jaquaden Guilford of Northrop. The Bruins opening the season at New Haven, and David Callison opening the scoring with Mr. Jaquaden Guilford. It's too easy. The future Buckeye into the end zone, and the Bruins scoring early and scoring often in this one. Later, it's Callison. Man, if this kid stays healthy and they protect him, people are going to be in trouble because, well, guys like sophomore Maddox Weil can ball. Already got an offer from the University of Michigan. Weil's in for the touchdown, and there would be more where that came from. You're going to see Callison airing it out again. This time, it's back to Guilford for a touchdown. Oh, those receivers are going to be a problem. Northrop wins this one 41-0. At Chambers Field, former NFL standout, friend of the show, Rod Smith on the sideline. Rod chopping up coach of the Legends, hosting Northridge. And yeah, it's already 7-0 Northside in the first quarter. Second quarter, Jaden Rivers to Malik Moore for a first down. You know what? Go back to Mr. Moore, one of the top juniors in the state. Offers from Wisconsin, Miami, Vanderbilt, and more. He gets the touchdown, his second TD of the game. That makes it 14-0. A little bit later, Rivers, the transfer from Warren Central, rolling out, finding Jannard Moore, who's a transfer from Luers. He's in 21-0 Northside, and the Legends open the season with a win at Chambers, 21-7. Doug Diner and the Chargers opening the season on the road as Carroll making the long drive down to Fishers to take on Hamilton Southeastern. HSE ranked 6th in the state in 6A. Carroll quarterback Gabe Freisinger replacing Jimmy Sullivan this season. Yeah, he was under duress, and that's picked by Henry Wands. HSE taking advantage with some trickeration. Christian Goodwine to Tayshawn Sanders to Terry Walker. He's actually the quarterback. That's a touchdown. You're going to see Evan Brubaker come up with a sack here. This was a good one, but HSE does top the Carroll Chargers by a final of 14-7. Homestead also on the road to start things off in the Indy area. The Spartans at Westfield. Shamrocks ranked 3rd in 6A, and they look the part. Westfield's Aiden Grabowski with a quarterback keeper in the first quarter. That would open the scoring, and Westfield wins this one 35-0 over the Homestead Spartans. Dwenger also down in the Indy area. The Saints marching their way to Indianapolis Roncalli. Both teams in the top 10 in the 4A state poll. And this was an old-fashioned defensive battle. Scoreless in the fourth quarter when Gavin Luthen puts in a 32-yard field goal. And folks, those were the only points of this ball game. Bishop Dwenger falls at Roncalli by a final of 3-0. Well, it's time for a quick timeout, but when we come back, Huntington North was one of the stories of the football season last fall. The Vikings winning their first sectional title in 31 years. Can the Vikes keep the ship heading in the right direction? We're about to find out after the break. Plus, the 2A state champs getting back to. We're going to head down to the landing strip with Adams Central as they took on Garrett. We'll also make our way to Turtletown to check in on Busco and the battle for the bell as West Noble faces Central Noble. Coverage of 15 more local games coming your way next on the Highlight Zone.
We're the Adams Central Jets, and stay tuned for more Highlight Zone.
What we're going to do is we're going to go out here, we're going to execute. We're going to execute. We're going to do our job. We're going to execute. We're going to play smart football. And we're going to send them home to their maker. And then we'll let God sort them out when they get there. You understand? Yes, well, then let's go then. Let's go then.
That was a quick behind-the-scenes look with new WANE head coach Darion White. For the full segment, check out our newscast every Wednesday at 6 o'clock as our Highlight Zone 2-minute drill returns this fall. And speaking of returning, the Jets can't wait to return to Lucas Oil Stadium this fall. Their first test facing Garrett, who made it to 3A semi-state last year. The Jets coming into the season ranked #1 in the state in the 2A poll. The Railroaders breaking in a new head coach in Chris Albertine. How about Jamison Roach? Yeah, he's not new. Now a junior, the QB in for a touchdown in the first quarter, and AC up 7-0. That touchdown was really key, and we'll show you why. Defense was the name of the game after that. Aiden Reed. Oh, they think he's going to have a big season for Garrett. He scoops up the fumble good field position, but Garrett would be unable to convert any points out of it in the second quarter. One of the reasons why they can't score, Cam Fravel. He gets the sack, and Adams Central withstands a good game from Garrett. 7-0, Jets victorious. At Huntington North, the Vikings coming off their first sectional crown since 1993. Mike Eschbach and company hosting Eastbrook. Picked this one up late in the first quarter. Lathan Jays to Wyatt Shearer. He was a Fab 15 selection as a tight end. That's a touchdown to make it 7-zip Vikings. Second quarter action, Ryder Gibson with the interception right there returns it 26 yards for a touchdown, and the game is knotted at 7. Just a few seconds before halftime, Lathan James to James Linker for a 24-yard touchdown, but Eastbrook comes back to win this one 21-20 against the Vikings. At DeKalb, former East Noble defensive coordinator Ryan Robertson right now in charge of the Barons. DeKalb hosting Angola, and how about special teams? Doing something special. DeKalb's Tristan Blaker, blocks the punt, and that would keep this ball game scoreless. Second quarter action now. Eli McCormick, probably been trained a little bit by Andrew McCormick. What do you think? He gets the touchdown run right there, and DeKalb leading 6-zip. Later in the second, Dallas Davidson pounds one home for the Hornets, and Angola goes on to win this one 14-6 at Cecil E. Young Field. At Bob Worthman Stadium, Bellmont hosting Heritage. The Patriots going 8-2 last season, and well, they show you why here. They did graduate some studs, but Lucas Weber is back on this team, and he knows how to play the game of football. He gets a touchdown here in the second quarter, already 35-zip Patriots. How about some defense? You're going to see Bellmont try to do some things here on special teams, but the ball pops out, and Gary Gerber comes up with the fumble, and Heritage goes on to win against Bellmont 42-0 over the folks from Decatur. Down in the courtyard in Ossian, Coach Josh Gerber entering his 10th season leading the Norwell Knights as they took on always tough Mississinewa. Second quarter, it's Mississinewa's big tight end, Merrick Mobley, who's mobile for sure. He takes it to the house. Ole Miss up 14-zip. Later, Norwell trying to get something to go on offense. It's Lance Merriweather from Hayden Castle. A decent game, but man, Mississinewa's defense was stifling in this one. The offense was pretty good too. Jacob Schwartz, the touchdown pass here as Norwell falls to Ole Miss 35-0. After an 8-2 season, Columbia City looking to keep the momentum going. The Eagles opening at 3A number 12 Northwood, and the Eagles flying high early. Corbin McIntosh on the ground from 11 yards out. He is in, and Columbia City, the first to score, up 7-0. Then in the second quarter, Trace Parrish powers one home, and Columbia City goes on the road and beats an always solid Northwood program 27-24, Eagles victorious. Battle for the Bell in Albion, Central Noble hosting rival West Noble. First quarter, West Noble's Trey Shishler. I was told it was Shizler, but some people told me it was Shishler. I'm going to mess that up a lot this season. He hit Xavier Yates for a touchdown, 7-zip West Noble. How about Dustin Richardson with a long touchdown run for the Chargers? West Noble feeling their oats in the second quarter. They're already up 14-zip, make it 21-zip. Xavier Yates taking the snap and keeping it for himself. It's a good decision as West Noble wins the Battle of the Bell 35-8. Woodlan coming off its best season since it made state in 2017. Brock Rohrbacher and the Warriors hosting Eastside. Pick it up in the third quarter. It's already 38-zip Blazers, and this is partly why. Good defense from Alex Brandowi's team. That's Bo Martin with the interception and a nice return as well. In the fourth quarter, Woodlan starts to get something going offensively. They would eventually score a touchdown. Griffin Clear running the ball well here. And Eastside, however, comes out victorious 38-6 against the Warriors. Churubusco won the NECC Small Division title last year. Paul Sade and the Eagles taking on the Bremen Lions. Pick this one up with some Busco defense. Check this out. Bremen trying to make some plays in the air. Jack Wildauer's pass knocked down. You gotta like that defense from the Eagles. And you know what Busco does pretty darn well? Run the football. How about Carson Tonkel taking this one to the house? That makes it 36-zip as Busco wins 36-7 over Bremen. Blackhawk Christian at Fremont. The Eagles led by senior Carmine Moreno. He was picked to the preseason WANE TV Fab 15. He rushed for over 1,300 yards last year. But hey, it's the quarterback's wheels doing work here. Jarrett Laughlin with the QB keeper in the second quarter, and Fremont flying high up 21-0 on the Braves. How about some defense? Well, Blackhawk driving here, but Trace Handshoe literally saving a touchdown, an interception in the end zone for Fremont, and then the aforementioned Carmine Moreno. Man, he is a load to bring down. It's a touchdown. Fremont wins 42-6. Prairie Heights, the Panthers hosting Whitko. Thomas Tyree in his first year leading the Wildcats. Now, first quarter action, Prairie Heights. Mason Brandeberry with a sack right there, and that keeps this ball game scoreless, but Whitko would make sure it wouldn't stay scoreless for long. Cooper Lockoff, a freshman, to Ethan Yates. That's pretty good football, and Whitko on the board first, up 6-0. And you're going to see a little more from Whitko. Mason Hersha, also a freshman, into the end zone as Whitko wins 30-22. Lakeland led by one of the state's top QBs. We're talking senior Braden Holbrook. Lakers at South Bend St. Joe. And, well, Holbrook shows off a little bit of the gun right here to his favorite receiver, Kian Arroyo. He's down the sideline. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. Lakers trailed, though, at that point 7-6, and they wouldn't get any closer. That's because Sam Shikatano would be throwing the ball pretty well. There's a touchdown pass right there, and South Bend St. Joseph's tops Lakeland 36-6. At Wagner Field, Southwood led by first-year head coach Joshua Marley. The Knights kicking things off against the Rochester Zebras. First quarter action, Rochester. Grant Holloway from 10 yards out, 6-0 after a failed two-point conversion. Little more Rochester, Brant Beck. This goes for 44 yards. The Zebras can run the football, and Rochester takes care of Southwood in this one. Your final 42-0. Zebras on top. I just like to say Zebras. Just up the road at Wabash, opening up with Maconaquah were the Apaches. The Braves ranked 8th in the 3A state poll. Second quarter action, it's Braden Stamper with a 54-yard touchdown, and Maconaquah up 27-6 at that point. Little Wabash defense coming up right here. Noah Baldwin for the guys in orange. As the quarterback scrambles, Baldwin comes up with the pick. Gotta like that if you're a Wabash fan. Unfortunately, Maconaquah's offense kind of had its way in this one. Maconaquah wins 61-20 over the Bash. At the Rock Pile in Plymouth, Tippecanoe Valley coming off 7 straight winning seasons. Yeah, Coach Steve Moriarty, he's pretty good. How about Owen Omondi with the reception right there. Plymouth, though, kind of running the football well in the first half. You're going to see the Rockies go to the ground here. However, it would be Tippecanoe Valley's night because TV wins this one by a final of 20-3 at the Rock Pile. Final game across the border in Ohio, the Antwerp Archers hosting the Montpelier Locomotives. One of the best nicknames I've heard of in a long time. Early on, this is Montpelier. It's already Montpelier up 6-0. Hayden Sharps to Jackson Stoller. That's a first down as they matriculate the football up the field. Here comes Antwerp. Ethan Thomas Van Kirk picking up some yardage and picking up a first down for the boys in blue, but it wouldn't be enough. Montpelier wins 24-16. Stay tuned. Your Gem of the Night is coming up.
We're the Leo Lions in the Lions Den. Week 1 Friday Night Lights.
Welcome back to the Highlight Zone.
Here at Peter Franklin Jewelers, we are proud to support local high school athletics. That's why we continue to sponsor the Highlight Zone on WANE TV.
Congratulations to this week's winner of the Gem of the Night, presented by Peter Franklin Jewelers.
I don't know if you saw it there. The Peter Franklin Jewelers Gem of the Night winner this year now gets a Peter Franklin Jewelers Gem of the Night t-shirt, and well, that is being shipped out to Warsaw. Wyatt Harmon, if you can do no good, at least do no harm. Mr. Harmon doing work. 76 yards on the touchdown. That is your Week 1 Peter Franklin Jewelers Gem of the Night. We'll be back next week for Week 2 here on the Highlight Zone.